My American shoes look shabby on the white marble as I lug my suitcase higher and higher up the stairs to my new home, a stone villa overlooking the Mediterranean. I'm 18 years old. I've just graduated from high school amid trumpets and fanfare and a chorus of parental and teacher voices around me tell me I'm doing everything right. So, armed with the top AP French score, I cross the Atlantic to become the best au pair France has ever seen. I pause in front of the heavy French doors, one fear lurking in the back of my mind. What if my new family doesn't like me? As far as I know, no one has ever not liked me. The door swings open and behind it stands Madame. She has soft brown hair that falls to her shoulders. She's wearing puffy white slippers. Come in, Lizzie, welcome, she tells me in French. And under a crystal chandelier, she introduces her 2 children and the full-time staff, a maid and a laundress. I cannot wait to begin exceeding expectations. That night, I draw a bath for 4-year-old Victoria, and I do it right. I test the water, not too hot, not too cold, not enough to drown in. After washing and rinsing, Victoria stands to get out of the tub. Les pieds, we hear. Madame corrects me from her perch on the toilet seat behind me. You must rinse Victoria's feet. I flush, and as I rinse each foot clear of the contaminated bathwater, I think about the baths that I took with my brothers as a child. And we ate carrots in the bathtub. A long peeled carrot to gnaw on for the whole bath. They made great boats and people and spears. I still remember the taste of carrot laced with bathwater. And it strikes me for the first time that this might be peculiar. I do not tell Madame about the carrots as she hands me a pile of 3 towels. 1 for the head, 1 for the core, 1 for everything below, she tells me. And I nod sagely so that she will think that I too dry myself with 3 towels. During these first few days, like any good student, I take careful note of the cultural differences in this new family, and with that I pick up some new vocabulary. Pantoufle, slippers, to be worn at all times to avoid cold feet, the source of illness. Courant d'air, air currents, carrying harmful bacteria, also the source of illness. Suppôt, suppository, to be administered to any child who has not achieved a bowel movement by bedtime. By now, I realize that I grew up in a family with grossly lax standards of cleanliness and internal bodily regulation. Madame must not know this. But a couple weeks later, the unthinkable happens. I get sick. It is because you did not wear your slippers that you are sick, says Madame through my closed bedroom door. During my 3 days in quarantine, I have a lot of time to think. Madame is getting the wrong idea about me. This isn't who I am at home. I never got sick, not even when I tried. One time in 4th grade, I climbed out of bed in the middle of the night and collected dust from under my bureau and then licked it to try to get sick to miss a spelling test that I did not feel adequately prepared for, and it didn't even work. I think about what my mother has told me, that exposure to bacteria is a good thing. It builds resistance and eventual immunity. But I have not eaten enough French dust. I resolve to recover quickly and claim my spot as the best au pair in France and possibly the world. I become French Mary Poppins. I make chocolate chip cookies with the children. We invent games, dances, go on elaborate excursions, carve Halloween pumpkins, and I document it all in these beautiful photo albums that I print out for Madame and Monsieur. But in the background of every frame in my glorious au pair montage is Madame, and she will not be impressed. The children have touched raw dough. There's clay beneath their fingers, or I've forgotten to pack an extra sweater. I become so jumpy, I begin to drop and break glasses regularly. And I come down with an illness that has nothing to do with bacteria. Homesickness. One night, I'm peeling grapes. It is important to peel all fruit, Madame has told me, because who knows who has touched it. If you want to know what's hard about peeling grapes, it's peeling them. In front of me is a pile of discarded grape skins and a bowl of gelatinous green orbs carefully bisected, with the seeds removed for Victoria. When Madame struts in, "Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe?" she says. "You're touching the inside of the grape. What good is peeling them if you're going to touch them with your fingers?" She throws the whole bowl of grapes into the trash can. And I do the only logical thing. I burst into tears, I go in the salon, and I hide behind the curtains. All my life, I thought I was responsible. Was I wrong? But no, in high school, I was the kid who all the parents wanted at the party because if I was there, it would not get out of hand. By high school standards, I was too responsible. And I began to think, what am I even doing here? Hiding behind layers of velvet and crying over fruit. I could be working for a family who didn't have time to watch me bathe their children. And when I emerge from the curtains, there's a defiance in my step. I do something I have never done before. I rebel. I eat a pear with the skin on it because I like pear skin. I sit on Victoria's bed wearing my outside pants. I feed the children tap water. And every act of rebellion makes me feel a little stronger, a little more like myself. But the final straw comes unexpectedly on Christmas. I lose the key to the house. A routine occurrence in my family of origin, but a level 1 security breach in this one. "You have been nothing but trouble since you arrived here," Madame tells me. "I want you out of my house by morning. And before you leave, I need to tell you exactly what I think of you. Tu as un mauvais caractère, et je pense le pire de toi." You have a bad character, and I think the worst of you. And as she says this, I think about the girl who arrived 3 months before, whose fear was not to be liked. Madame's words would have leveled her. But Madame's words don't touch me. I am immune. At dawn, I meet Madame by the front door with my suitcase, her hair falling soft at her shoulders, wearing her white slippers. "Before you leave," she says, "I need your chocolate chip cookie recipe." I give it to her, and as I step outside, the worst au pair in all of France, I feel freer than I have ever felt in my life, because maybe it's my first Christmas away from home, and maybe I'm technically homeless, but I feel more at home with myself than I have ever felt. Thank you. 'Cause I'm free to do what I want, to be what I want, any old